And the third aspect of the blessing is a picture of a special future. So not only are you letting them know that they're loved, not only are you letting them know the value that they have by the words that you speak into them, but you're also helping your children understand that you believe that they have a significant future, that they have a purpose in their life, that there is a forward momentum in their life. And you see it if you look at, for example, Genesis chapter 48. Jacob, named Israel, he's speaking over his two grandsons, and he says, "May the people of Israel bless each of you by saying, God make you as prosperous as Ephraim and Manasseh." He was speaking into his grandsons, and he was saying, I want the world to look at you and say, I want to be like them. You're going to have such an impact that people are going to say, hey, Ephraim and Manasseh are the people that we want to be like. He was speaking into their future. They had not yet achieved, but he was seeing something in them that maybe they did not see in themselves. Can I tell you that we live in a time right now that sociologists, psychologists are telling us that they've never seen a generation that is struggling so much with anxiety, loneliness, isolation, depression, and sometimes suicidal ideation. If you have a junior high, high schooler, or even college age, there is a pandemic of anxiety that exists. Uncertainty about the future, doubting of their worth and value. And I think this word of blessing and affirmation is more important now, probably than any generation before us. That it is vital, crucial, essential that we as parents are able to speak into the identity, destiny, and the future of our children. You know, you can't dictate what your children are going to be, but you can speak into the fact that you see qualities in them that you believe are going to do something. I heard of a doctor that was taking their second grader, they were going to drop them off at school, and they had left their stethoscope in the back seat. And so they saw their daughter pick up the stethoscope and start playing with it. And immediately they thought, hey, she's going to follow my footsteps, be a doctor as well. Until the little girl in the back seat said, okay, this is McDonald's. What is your order? And so I don't think that you can dictate what your children are going to be, but you can let your children know that what you see in them before they see it in themselves. You know, that's the nature of God. For example, Gideon in Judges, he had never done anything, never accomplished anything yet, and when God meets Gideon, he says, mighty warrior. He wasn't a mighty warrior. He was hiding in a cave from the enemy, but God saw something in him before he'd ever accomplished anything. Can I tell you something? Listen, God sees your potential, not just what you've done, but who you are, what you can do. He speaks value into your destiny, value into your future. He speaks that which is not yet as though it were. And I believe you say, Pastor, you don't know my kid. No, I don't know your kid. But here's what I know, that every child is made in the image of God. And there's dignity and value in each of them, regardless of what difficulty they may be going through at the time. Part of the power of the blessing is to look at your children and to remind them that God has a future for them. That you see in them what they don't see in themselves yet. I used to tell my boys, hey, you're a man of God in the making. I repeat that over to them. Hey, one day, you're a man of God. I see it already in you. I would tell my daughter, you're a woman of worth and value, a godly young lady that God, and they were just young, but I would speak it into them, see it in their lives. My I remember one day my son Grant, who's 25 now, he was probably about 6 years old at the time, I would pray for them. And I would say, I would say to Grant, hey, one day you're going to marry a woman, you're going to be a great husband, and you're going to be a father, you're going to raise some children. And he would look at me like, I'm going to raise children? Yeah, one day you're going to raise children, you're going to lead them well, you're going to speak into their destiny. One day I could see it in you already that you're going to be a good father and a good husband as well. And I'll never forget, as a 6-year-old, he kind of looked at me a little scared, and he said, I said, I'm praying for your wife. And he said, how am I going to know who she is? There's so many women out there. And I said to him, well, son, do you trust me? He said, yeah. I said, can I choose her for you? He said, yeah. I said, let's shake on this. I'm going to remind you later. So we shaked on it, and I remind him now, hey, we shook on it, so that's a done deal. But why am I speaking into them? Because a little boy needs to have a vision of themselves in the future. Can I tell you something, fathers? Let me just be clear about this. If the message that your sons and daughters are getting from you is a message of disappointment constantly, a message of you're going to fail, how come you're not this, why aren't you this, you need to do this, you're never going to amount to anything, you're just like your uncle that ended up in jail, you're going to, if that is the constant message that you're speaking into your sons and daughters, then the image that they have of their future is one of doom, of failure. The image that they have of their future is one of already disaster. You are shaping their future destiny by how you speak into their lives.